Yakuza have been ordered to put away guns as boss is sentenced to death by hanging.
Here's a summary of the article.
Members of the Yakuza have been instructed not to use their guns after boss Satoru Nomura, the don of the notorious Kudokai gang, was sentenced to death last month. 74-year-old Nomura was found guilty of ordering 4 assaults, one of which saw the victim die, by a court in Fukuoka. Prosecutors argued that while there was no direct evidence connecting Nomura to the attacks, as the head of the organization, he held ultimate responsibility. Gangs associated with the Yamaguchi-gumi, Japan's biggest crime organization, have now been ordered not to use guns in public, via an order issued Wednesday, September 1, named the 6th General Headquarters of Yamaguchi-gumi, according to sources close to Yamaguchi-gumi. Suzuki also raised doubts over the practical application of the order, explaining, gang groups use firearms in emergency situations. An unnamed senior police officer involved in the Japanese authorities' crackdown on gangs also said the order is essentially meaningless purely because of how crime syndicates operate. For gang groups, once they decide to kill someone, they will carry out the mission even without a gun, they said.
This post received a score of 5,200, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Damn, sentenced to hanging. And also sentenced to death based on. We know who you are and what you've probably done. So you're responsible for it cause you're the boss.
All executions in Japan are carried out by hanging, if I'm not mistaken.
They are, and without warning. You family gets to know after they have carried out the sentence.
Greater than said the order is essentially meaningless purely because of how crime syndicates operate. Criminally,
if you make crime illegal, you just punish all the law-abiding criminals.
Crime 2. That's just breaking the laws of physics at this point.
Need to appoint a new police force to that.
How about a half-man, half-dog that can smell crime?
How much full penetration is involved?
I recently read about government's crackdown on Yakuza. They made them outcast, they can't buy a home, phone or vehicle, they can't live in a hotel, etc. Yakuza has been dying a slow, painful death.
I saw a gym that wouldn't allow visible tattoos because they're associated with the Yakuza. Society is really committed to excommunicating their gang members.
Open tattoos are banned in many onsens and public places in Japan because of association with Yakuza.
Do they deny service to Westerners who also have visible tattoos?
Yes. Source: me. I have Japanese tattoos and was kicked out of a hot spring because of them. I had asked if I could go in with tattoos, because I saw the sign, and they laughed and said okay, because, obviously you are not Yakuza, but then after they realized I was not joking and asked me to leave. Which was understandable.
That is fascinating.
Thanks to the Yakuza boss hanging related no guns order, I now know that if I put a wooden spoon over the pot, the water won't boil over. Thank you.
Seriously? I love how some inconsequential Yakuza-related news that you would even have a hard time finding on Japanese news outlets gets more attention on our world news than the PM of Japan on the same day, resigning, and the race to replace him.
Greater than the Japanese PM resigning again?
They go fast. Abe was remarkable in having remained PM for 8 years, longer than anybody up to that point. By a long shot.
Article says people were shocked. Except from previous chat I've seen about Japan's PM, they're usually not in the job for very long. You'd think the shock would be that Abe managed to last for 8 years, not that the current PM did what many other previous Japanese PMs have done and not seek re-election a year or so after getting the job.
I'd say the shock is that we expected Suga to be the fall guy for the upcoming election, so one of the real LDP heavyweights, or perhaps Abe himself, could pick up the reins afterwards untainted by the Olympics fiasco and the election losses. With about a month or so to the next election, this does not look planned at all. Recent local by-election losses likely forced their hand.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.